You see the blessing in all your days. Notice beauty and sweetness and be amazed. May you love without bound, ever feel God surround. May you mend and tend, may you learn without end. May you see the blessing, may you seize the blessing. May you be a blessing in all your days. Friends, that's a lullaby I learned from Rabbi Dale Friedman. We sang it to all our children when they were younger. And every now and then, I say it to myself as a prayer on their behalf. But remarkably, this prayer was originally written as a prayer for the elderly, a way to recognize their growing stature and honor their dignity. What I just sang was the chorus. The first verse reads, "How many adventures you've had on your way, delights to be sure, also loss and dismay. Your vision has broadened, your heart opened wide. Your wisdom deserves to be prized." There is something quite beautiful and profound in a blessing that applies to the very old as well as to the very young. My father of blessed memory was always young, even into his 90s. When he would see a flash of lightning or leaves turning color in the fall, or ice smoothly gracing a tree, or geese flying in formation overhead, he would always say, with the wide-eyed enthusiasm of a little boy, "Would you look at that?" And I must mention that as I was coming to shul this morning, just a few houses away from my home, there were 5 squirrels all lined up with their tails up in the air, gathering nuts for the winter. My father, had he been there with me, would have said, "Would you look at that?" My father never forgot the adventure and the blessing of life. Unfortunately, though, as theologian Michael Fishbane said, forgetting is the norm. It is perfectly natural for us to forget who we are and what we are meant to be. Blessings. Inside every senior, there's an 18-year-old wondering, what the heck happened? What happened is we forgot that we were meant to be blessings. It is a reality to which we should become woke. It will enrich our lives and the lives of the people we love immeasurably. It will allow us, as Fishbane describes it, to say, "Here I am. This is life as I know it." And such a confession clears a space for honest theology. Too often is our sense of the world affected by habit and familiar ideas. We have eyes to see, but our minds are filled with idols. The result is a living death. Almost unknowingly, we become caretakers of our moribund sensibilities. Only through self-examination may one hope to begin anew, to wake up to the fact that we are meant to be blessings. There is a Swedish gerontologist, Dr. Lars Tornstam, and he has developed a wonderful concept called gerotranscendence. Gero from age, gerontology, and transcendence, rising above. He suggests that wise aging involves, and I'm quoting, breaking through the limited perspectives and awareness that characterized our younger years. In earlier stages of life, we are by necessity focused on a largely individual agenda, achieving an education, finding a job, establishing ourselves in a career, raising a family. In later life, we begin to understand, hopefully, that our lives are deeply linked to our past and to history that goes back even before our birth. Likewise, we are connected to an unknown future that we are in the process of creating. During these years, we learn more about ourselves, appreciating our complexity, accepting our limitations, and developing a new kind of inner confidence and wisdom. We enjoy fewer but deeper relationships and find pleasure in solitude. We are less interested in material possessions and freer to be ourselves, even in the face of social conventions. Hopefully, as a part of this process, we learn to treat ourselves and others with more compassion as the blessings we are meant to be. Aging should be an opportunity for compassion, not bitterness, for joy, not regret, for wisdom, not obsolescence. And therefore, and especially for Jews, this has great significance. Therefore, we participate in what my teacher, Dr. Linda Tal, calls generativity, the conscious mentoring and nurturing of the next generation. As our character becomes increasingly refined, our joy heightens, our wisdom deepens, our sense of responsibility for the ages increases. And a good thing it is. As Dr. Tal writes, our society aches from the lack of the voices of wisdom of its elders. Indeed, the nature and quality of our lives on this planet depend as much on the wisdom gleaned from our experiences as it does on the energy and discoveries of younger generations. Our voices, ripened with time and experience, must be heard. We may protest or lobby or speak out, or we may display our power through the way we are, loving, generous, as wise. As the Rebbitzin says, wisdom is not just being a wise guy or coming up with something absolutely new. It's distilling from everything that's out there what is truly important. My friends, we will shortly stand for Yizkor. And when we do, what we will remember most deeply and most movingly was when our ancestors displayed their power that way, when they were loving, generous, and wise. They were a blessing. We too are a blessing, and it is our sacred obligation to act like it for our parents and our children, for our brothers and sisters, for our spouses, for our other relatives, for our friends, for the world, to be a blessing and act like it. The great tragedy of our lives is that so often we don't. The great comfort of our lives is that at every moment we still can. The poet Stanley Kunitz reminds us that we are living and dying at once. And since we are, We should live with the knowledge that what matters is not the trifles of the moment, but the gifts of eternity. Forgetting may be the norm, but now is the time to remember. Yizkor, remember, awake, arise from your slumber. May you see the blessing in all your days. Notice beauty and sweetness and be amazed. May you love without bound, ever feel God surround. May you mend and tend. May you learn without end. May you see the blessing. May you seize the blessing. May you be a blessing in all your days. How many adventures you've had on your way. Delights to be sure, also loss and dismay. Your vision has broadened, your heart opened wide. Your wisdom deserves to be prized.